Kovi,
Yes.
we are back in the new year, and for me, I'm excited, especially with the happenings in the Premier League and the FA Cup. But the reason we're seated here is basically because of what just happened, Chelsea Man City. We can go on and talk about what happened in the game, the nitty gritties, but there are key pointers that we need to actually look at. Chelsea and Graham Potter. Let's go straight to the point. Is he heading for the exit?
He's gone. As far as I'm concerned, he's gone.
You think so?
I think probably he's only there because maybe at this material time Chelsea did not have an option. But I think that on the basis of every cliche that we have come to know in football, every cliche that we have come to realize that's greeted football time without number. I think that he's gone because listen, the the job of a manager has to be the result. And if you look at Chelsea in the last 7, 8 games, terrible. The results are not going in his favor. They
They've
are not
won one,
playing.
just one in the
Yes, I
last
mean,
8 games.
you look at
Drawn one, the rest are
you look at
defeats.
the results, you look at the performances, you want to zoom in and find some leeway for the manager. You probably want to touch a bit on something good they are doing. I struggle to find one. I struggle to find one. And for me, I think that we only are having this conversation because it is not Abramovich. I mean, we are having this conversation because it's not Abramovich. Because if you were Abramovich, we'll be talking about a different story. The sack letter would have gone. They would have issued it through the fax or through the email or through a text message, whichever means possible to get through to the manager. I was one of the people who hoped that Potter
Will
coming in
succeed.
with the kind of football philosophy that's carry, with the kind of results that he had garnered for himself, or with the kind of strides that he had made for himself at a relatively lower club like Brighton. I was hoping that he would come in and implement it. But lucky, once again, it shows that it is very, very difficult to manage elite teams. It is very difficult to manage teams on the top end. You understand? I mean, it's not bread and butter. You need to make sure that you galvanize the playing squad. You need to make sure that your policies are quickly embraced by everybody within the corridors of the club. And for me, Chelsea are in chaos. They're in chaos.
Before we probably look at what the problem is with Chelsea, I think that I would want to agree with you on the bit that he's marking time. He's counting the days when his sack letter will be issued out to him. I feel it was, for me, the sacking of Thomas
Tuchel,
Tuchel
retrospectively,
it was so wrong because
ill-judged.
it was just about 6 games into the season. The
Yes.
guy had just bought new players. Even in the process of buying new players, they were having a bad run of form. You let him go, and there was no plan.
Well, I must be quick to point out that Tuchel was not sacked for football reasons. Tuchel was sacked for anything but football reasons. There was an issue with the new owner coming in, and there was an issue where he wanted Tuchel to be an active member in the recruit team. Tuchel felt, no, listen, this is out of my jurisdiction.
I just
I
want to be a
need to
coach.
focus on the coaching side. So what Tuchel did was that he sent his agent for most of those meetings. Apparently, he didn't meet the eye of the people who ran the top brass of the club. So he had to go away. I think that the sacking of Tuchel had to be an issue of ego play.
But you see, even in that, I think that we spoke about how yes, American sport franchise owners are brilliant. They run their sport franchise in tremendous form, but the nitty gritties of football is different from maybe American football, basketball, and all those other sports in America. Coming into a new jurisdiction, football, a new country, he should have studied the terrain. He's a new manager. I'm sure the reason Tuchel gave, for me, it made a lot of sense. Hey, get a technical director, get a recruitment team. Manchester United have John Metto. Other teams have people who handle recruitment. They have a technical directorate that handle recruitment. Yes, there's a synergy or collaboration between the manager and the recruitment team, but the manager is is not hands on in it and all of that. Some may say, well, as a manager, you need to be hands on in the player that comes in. All that he feels that I just want to concentrate. If you think this player is good and you run it by me and I think he's okay, I would use him. But if I think he's not okay, well, I would not use him. So I think in a way it makes a lot of sense, and it goes a long way to tell you about the structureless nature of Chelsea and the owners coming into the club. That's where I think that, listen, they've done themselves a lot of disservice and they've shot themselves in the foot. Look at what is happening right now. Graham Potter cannot seem to steady the ship. He cannot seem to get the best out of the very few quality
And they're
players that are left.
buying, and they are buying chaotic.
They're
I mean,
buying.
that's
That's
what
the
gets
problem.
what gets me worried. I think that at this point we need to give a lot of credit to Abramovich. You might not like him, you might not probably like his style. You understand? I mean, he came in with that machoism and all of those other
That
little,
Russian
exactly, that
mentality.
Eastern
Yeah,
European
exactly.
mentality. But the issue is that under Abramovich, with Chelsea, there was a structure.
Exactly.
You had to. I
There was
struggled
Mariana
to exactly.
Granovskaya
I
running
struggled to
things.
find so many transfers not going right under
That's true.
Abramovich. But you look at Chelsea today; they have signed Fofana. Tomorrow they are signing somebody
In the
from
next, I think
Monaco.
2 3 days they sign them three black guys,
Exactly.
and they are in the market for two ram. They are literally buying, and these are ad hoc measures. These are quick fixes that will not solve the problem, because maybe we can dovetail into what exactly is wrong with this Chelsea team. I think that, listen, the problem with Chelsea is as much technical as it is tactical. Technical in the sense that the materials currently at Chelsea are not that good compared to other teams. If you look at the defense, the midfield, and the attack, Chelsea's attack cannot be compared to any of the top four teams they attack. Look at the performance Rashford is putting in lately. Look at City's attack. Look at Arsenal's attack. Even with the absence of what is Gabriel Jesus, the attack is still exactly the attack is
Bakayo
still potent.
Saka.
Let's go to their midfield. Their midfield cannot be compared to what is it called? A United midfield, neither Chelsea's midfield, Arsenal's midfield. The defense, likewise. So every single department of the team, technically, their players are not up there. And I was telling somebody that, listen, mostly great players operate at around 80-90% level. Chelsea's players are operating at around 40 to 50% level. And they are not on form to or in form. So invariably, they're operating around 30% to 20%. You cannot pitch yourself against players who are playing at 80, 70, 90 and expect to win. Tactically, in the sense that as good as Graham Potter is, he is not able to get the right ideas to get the best out of the materials that he has. He's trying so many things. Look at today's game. They were not pressing, they were lethargic, their transition from defense, they were so slow in their build-up. City were practically walking their way into Chelsea's attack with ease. So for me, like I said, it's technical, it's tactical, and the team is in chaos. I don't know what you think.
Well. I think I agree with you on most of the things you said. I mean, to get the record straight, Chelsea do not have an attack. They do not have an attack. I mean, listen, they went into the market for Aubameyang. There was Raheem Sterling.
He's not even
As one of
playing
the as
constantly.
one of the people who felt that, listen, signing Raheem Sterling from City was a no for me, because you look at Raheem Sterling, the kind of football he played with Liverpool, and the Brendan Rodgers before he left for City, all the years that he left for City. You know, in the history of City, he's the guy who has scored the second most goals apart from that legendary Argentine forward. You understand? So you look at Chelsea and subsequently their recruitment of Raheem Sterling, then their recruitment of Aubameyang. No. So you look at the team. See, I sit here, I struggle to find which combination is right for that Chelsea midfield. I mean,
That's
I
true.
had a discourse with somebody this afternoon that do you go with the Zakaria axis? Do you go with the Kovacic axis? Do you go with the Jorginho axis? Do you go with the Loftus-Cheek axis? It's chaotic, and you know the thing that made Chelsea stand out in their emergence had to be their defense and their midfield. There was a time where you could probably place Chelsea as having the best midfield in the world consecutively for 5, 6, 7 years. I mean, there was a time they used to have Makelele in that midfield. There was a time they used to have Michael Essien in that midfield. There was a time they used to have Mikel Ballack in that midfield. There was a time they used to have Frank Lampard in that midfield. Today, I look at that midfield. There's
Even
Jorginho.
even when 2 3 seasons ago there was N'Golo Kante
Exactly.
performing at the highest
Exactly.
level.
So you look at the Chelsea, and for me, the defense terrible. I mean, you don't buy that security man. Forgive me. I mean, but that's what my friends call him. You don't buy Koulibaly and expect him to thrive in a fast-paced league. Defenders have two categories, or categorizations. There are defenders like Thiago Silva,
Yeah.
who do not really have a lot of pace, but their
How they
sense of
read the
judgment,
game.
how they read the game, is top notch. You understand? Then there are defenders who probably do not have the best sense of judgment, but are quick.
Yeah.
But I don't know where to put Koulibaly. He's not quick. He's not blessed with a lot of intelligence. So you look at the Koulibaly, you look at the Thiago Silva, whoever he wants to come in. Today he tried another combination. Doesn't work. I mean, you still cannot do it as Piliqueta as a right fullback. No, he's at the odd age of 30 plus, 35 plus. You understand? Cucurella showed a lot of promise with Brighton. He's not the same player that Chelsea needs. And so for me, yes, I mean Chelsea can speak about the injuries that they have. I think that they have some quality players on the injury list, but all said and done, I would want to agree with you that there's not a lot of quality exuding through the ranks of the Chelsea team, and for me, they are in chaos. I mean, I shudder to say this, but they will be battling with relegation very soon.
Well, we'll probably come to that, but let's get to YouTube. We have a lot of guys watching us, and this is our first shoot for
Happy
the
New
year.
Year, guys.
Happy New Year,
Happy New
guys! Our first
Year's.
shoot for the year 2023, and as always, we are doing this with you. Let me take some few comments and kindly share the link if you're watching and just share it on your various platforms. Tell your guys to join us. So there's Zongo Media who says Asu hopes Potter's job will still be protected. PK Justice says simply Potter is just behaving like Putin. Then there is PK Justice who comes back to say, I'm sure Todd Bowley is into sport betting because he's always on his phone, and whenever he watches Chelsea matches, they lose. So as PK, you're a Chelsea fan because we lose, so we know where you stand. There's our very own David Afo who says Chelsea will get better. We'll come back to that. Can Potter fix this? We'll get back to that. So there's Kojo Heford who says Potter must not be sacked. He must take Chelsea to relegation first. Okay, we know where these guys are all coming from. There's Kobe Eshen who says Chelsea won't get better. Argento Stud says, I like how Chelsea is failing. They need to understand how to build a team from scratch. PK Justice comes back to say Potter is behaving like the Minister of Trade. He just need to resign. Beniza Tete gives us thumbs up and all the love. So Christensen Kojo has sent us $5. We thank you for the stickers. Charlie, keep them coming. Keep them coming. We love you so much. Let's get into this. Before we get to the bit where can Potter fix this, because at least I think from next week on we are starting the second round of games in the Premier League. For the FA Cup, they are out. I mean, the other little trophies, I don't think Chelsea would do anything better. So let's see how best they can fix it. But let's look at the attack, should they call Lukaku back? Because Aubameyang is not firing. They've tried Kai Havertz as a false nine on several occasions this season. In the Premier League game against City, they tried. It didn't work. Today they tried. It was awful. He was off. Clearly, it will not work. They tried Raheem Sterling at some point earlier in the season. It didn't work. Should they recall, because he's on loan? They have all the right to recall him. Should they recall Lukaku back? Because they are trying to sign Thuram. They are trying to bring in so many players, which I think is even a huge mistake. Should they recall Lukaku back?
Lukaku is not coming back. Lukaku is not coming back. Lukaku has his reservations on Chelsea.
But he had his issues with Tuchel. Tuchel is no longer the man at the helm of affairs.
Well, I think Lukaku is enjoying life in Italy. Recently, he granted an interview saying that maybe Chelsea and Inter have to find a way of making his deal permanent. Clearly, he does not want to come back to the toxic environment that pertains in Chelsea. I think that um, even with Lukaku coming back, if Lukaku from time immemorial has always fed from supplies in the midfield.
Exactly.
Who is that guy who is going to get Lukaku those odd balls from the midfield? Who is the one guy in that Chelsea midfield?
They do have Kai Havertz. They do have Kovacic. These guys have eye for passes.
No, they have hype for passes, but you see, when we talk about City, you can talk about Kevin De Bruyne, you can talk about Bernardo Silva, you can talk about Palmer, you can
Riyad
talk about
Mahrez,
Riyad Mahrez, you can talk about all
even
of the guys.
Rodri.
Exactly, you can talk about all of those guys who are able to thread those passes from the midfield or from the wings to the forward line. There's nobody in Chelsea. When you come to Manchester United, you can talk about
Bruno
Bruno
Fernandes,
Fernandes. Sorry, you can talk about Garnacho sometimes. You can talk about Casemiro.
Eriksen.
Who is that guy in that Chelsea midfield? I think that even if you brought Lukaku back today,
He will still struggle.
there's a dysfunctional team.
So then it clearly means that whatever the recruitment team is trying to do, they are getting it wrong because they seem not to identify the places where they need help the most. Because I think when they need help the most in the midfield and in attack, because if you're not scoring, you cannot win. I mean, that's the simple rule in football. But as much as if you're not scoring, you cannot win. You need that midfield to bridge the gap. As we speak, as good as Kovacic is as a transition player and as one of the greatest press resistant players in the Premier League, he's not that guy who can be the guy they want to look up to to supply those balls to the attackers. He won't, and we've seen that all through this season. They are missing N'Golo Kante. N'Golo Kante would have brought that energy, that drive, that
That
ability to
protection to
that
the back
that
four.
typical box to box midfield. He makes those runs from one end of the pitch to the other end. They are missing that in the midfield. They tried today with Gallagher. It did not work. So clearly they need somebody who would make that work. But it's January. Who would let go of his top or price asset? No team is willing to let go of the. They tried Enzo Fernandez, that young chap from
Rui Costa says, no,
Benfica,
no, no, no.
but
No.
Mendes
If you
is
don't pay the full
yeah,
buyout
Mendes is
clause,
not willing
yeah.
to
If you
to
don't
let
pay the
him
full
go.
buyout clause, he's not
So what do
coming.
they do?
The issue with Chelsea is they are bleeding from different angles. You don't know where to put the gods. That's the point. I mean, they are bleeding from all angles. And what I fear for them is that Chelsea traditionally are not a big elite European club. And so if you do not have all of those Champions League slots being filled up, you might struggle to
Attract
find the
the
right
top class
players
players.
exactly
That's true.
in the off season. So I think that what Chelsea needs to do is to, if I were Chelsea, what I'll do is to have a quick reset. Have a quick reset. I mean, take cognizance of all of the things happening around you.
Yeah.
I mean, try to make reason why you are in this situation first of all, and halt some of the panic buys. You
Yeah.
understand? Because I see them buying a lot of players because when the players who are injured come back from injury
Yeah.
and they come to meet all of these other players they are signing now, there will be a lack of balance in the squad. There could be potentially anarchy running through the ranks of the squad because everybody would feel that, oh, okay, they need to play. Everybody would feel that I'm a big name signing. I need to be on the team sheet and all of those other little funny football politics. I think that Chelsea needs to take a hard reset. They need to be truthful to where they are. The truth of the matter is that I, I don't even know what to say. That's the truth of the matter. I don't know where to tackle the problem from because managerially they have a problem. I mean, in terms of the player body, they have a huge problem. So I think that if there was ever a season that the season could be written off, this one for Chelsea.
Chelsea's problem, like you said, is a bit more of a hydra-headed situation. You chop off one head,
Another head
another
keeps
head
growing.
pops up. You chop off the other, another head pops up because And you cannot decide in just January to fix the defense, the attack, the midfield, all
You
in
can't
one,
do that.
transfer window. That's the reason why this problem might linger on. And it begs the question, can Graham Potter fix the problem? With the materials he has, I don't think Potter can fix this situation. I fear for Chelsea. I think that there is the tendency that they might just sink deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. And it's looking very gloomy for Chelsea because they are 10 points off the top four. Not even the first spot or the top four. Right now it's not looking any it's not looking likely that it's not looking likely that they would, they will catch up. Manchester United is on fire right now. They are on form. They've gone over 10 games of beating, despite Tottenham Hotspur's, what is it called? Undulating, performances. Sometimes, they give you the oohs and the ahs. Still, they are in the top four range. I personally feel that, listen, this season is over for Chelsea. Like you said, they should just cut their losses, try and manage the losses, at least, and find himself in a very respectable position at the end of the season. Maybe fifth, maybe sixth, maybe seventh. Try and make the Europa,
League
league
spot.
next season. Because as we speak, even Liverpool are firing. Liverpool are firing their way, trying to make the top four. So I do not think that, listen, Chelsea can make their way back into the top four. I feel Graham Potter at the end of the season, if care is not taken, he might go, because I do not think they will sack him in the middle of the season. Because if you sack him, who are you bringing? If you sack him, who are you bringing?
Tuchel?
For those who believe that, for the likes of Piqué and they feel, let go of Potter, cut your losses and just let him go. Who are you bringing?
Well, there's still Zidane available. Will
Zidane.
he come?
A lot other teams have contacted Zidane. He's turned them down. I do not think that he wants to coach
Well,
any club at the moment. He's
well,
looking at the French national team.
yes. I mean, there are some good teams around. There are some good coaches around.
Who
Sorry.
are those managers? That's
Yes,
the
I mean,
point. Who? It looks like all the best managers are locked up right now. They may want to look at Gus Hiddink, but I think that
he's too.
Chelsea have passed the
And I
Gus
think that,
Hiddink
I mean,
era.
obviously there's not the Abramovich connection. So I mean, he was
Exactly.
always coming because of the Abramovich connection. There's
So
not the Abramovich
I'm
connection.
sure the football directorate are looking around to see.
Maybe they might just go for Fernando Santos,
Please.
or they might just go for Titi.
But you see, ironically, I think that Fernando Santos might work because of a defensive mentality. Listen, you can say whatever you want to say about Fernando Santos. His work with Portugal defensively, he built a solid defensive unit. It was the reason why they were able to lift the 2016, Euros. People had qualms with him because they felt his style of play stifled the team and couldn't unleash the attacking potential of the team. But if you look at the structure of Chelsea and the DNA of Chelsea, I think for a manager like Fernando Santos
It will be perfect for them.
perfect for them. But the point is, the new owners, if you look at the kind of players they are signing, I think they want to play that so-called expansive, attractive football. Let's take some comments from YouTube, and there are guys who have joined us live. So Ebenezer Tete said, comes to say, well said, Seth Asiedu. He has taken the wind out of my sail. More fire, guys. Potter is nowhere near Chelsea standard. This is George Ahin. Oh, what is Chelsea standard? George, maybe you can tell us.
I mean, Chelsea have come to mean something in the last few years.
So,
I mean,
so
I think
maybe we can look at this. David says that, listen, Potter is struggling because of a thin squad.
I disagree.
We could come back to that, but let's take some
disagree.
comment. Michael Asaribodi says the club lacks a clear long-term plan and we're consigned to employing short-term football measures to cope. But for a period, that model is no longer effective in an era dominated by data and statistics, and that's true. If you want to use these quick fixes, ad hoc measures to fix a problem, especially in football right
you
now,
have to tackle it from the bottom
you
to
need
the
to
top.
think
Yep.
long term.
Yes.
And that is where those who are advocating or clamoring for Potter to stay, it fits into the narrative because in the long term, he's a good manager. I mean, I'll be very naive to say Potter is a bad manager. He's a good manager. He understands the game. He knows how he wants to play. What I think is the problem is how to translate those ideas into the players and get them to function with those ideas is the problem, and the materials at his
Well,
disposal.
the other point is simple that he's a good manager. Yes, we all acknowledge that. We saw the kind of football that he played with Brighton. We saw the players he developed. He's a good manager. But the other point is that you'd have to juxtapose it with the expectations of top tier clubs. Will they give you that time? Will they afford you that patience? I mean, I think that is a marriage that needs to be decided by Chelsea. Will they have that time, that sort of that's long term plan for Porter to be available? Will they feel embarrassed by the happenings of Tuchel and post Tuchel? I mean, because
Tuchel is still
these
available. You can
no,
still.
these are issues of pride. You understand that? So
People go back to
I'm
their
saying
ex-girlfriends
yes.
all the time. So
Well, that is another subject matter for another day. Maybe when we try venturing into the relationship corner. But I think that you need to look at Tuchel being a good manager vis-a-vis the working conditions at Chelsea, vis-a-vis the kind of expectations
yeah,
for you to be coaching at a club like Chelsea.
yeah.
I think it's tough. It's tough. He's a good manager, but I feel that he might just not survive because he finds himself at Chelsea.
Let's look at Davy's question. The narrative is Chelsea have a thing squad. They do have a thing squad. That's true. But for me, I think it's not about having a thing squad. You can have a large squad and there's no quality in the large squad. Listen, like I said earlier on, let's use the example. Let's use City as an example. City have a large squad, but there's quality. They literally played with a second string team today, and still you could see that
The
the
semblance of what the manager
exactly.
wants to
And
do.
I was having this discussion with a friend on phone. I was listen, in football, what matters is if I take, let's say, Kevin De Bruyne out and I bring in Bernardo Silva. Bernardo Silva may not give me what Kevin De Bruyne gives me, but he still keeps the shape of the team and delivers what I want. And that is what City does. Yes, the quality may not. I mean, Alvarez is not what is it called, a Haaland, but he will give you that quality. He will give you that strength, that those runs. He would press at a certain level that Haaland would press, but maybe the quality is not the same, but he will score as well. So it's not so much about having a large squad. If you have a large squad and it's not quality, I mean, what's the reason in having a large squad that is not filled with quality? You take off, Gallagher. Who are you bringing in?
Well,
It should be quality.
well, I agree. I agree with your school of thought. I agree with your narration that when you when you look at the squad that Chelsea have, you made mention of the City example. The point is simple. I think that you cannot just run to that cliche or that theory that Chelsea um, do have a thin squad. That is the reason why Potter is suffering.
Mm.
I think that would be quite a lazy approach because, like you said, with the example with City, even when the other players who are injured are not around, we need to see a system. We need to see the sense of direction. Even with the players available, we need to see the clear imprint
Yeah.
of what exactly it is that you want to do. Perhaps it is now. I mean, listen, if you compare the two games that Chelsea have played against City in the last 4 days,
4 days.
you realize that two different matches, two different structures from
Exactly.
Chelsea. But you look at City, almost the
They kept
same
the
structure.
same
Exactly,
template.
almost the same template.
Nothing
So,
changes.
so I think that this is where people like myself come in. I mean, what is the manager really trying to do?
Somebody to argue that listen, this City team has been built over a period of close to 7 years. They've given Pep Guardiola time because they believe in his ideologies. They take us back to Liverpool. When Klopp came in, they believe in his ideology. They gave him 5 years, 6 years to build a project. The project yielded results. They won the Champions League. They won the league. They won the FA Cup. They've been to the Champions League 3 times in 4 years. So it's up to the Chelsea hierarchy to believe in the project and say, okay, we are running a 4 5 years project, a 3 year project. Like Michael said, let's give this man the chance because this is his first season. So trying to compare, oh, I want to see a certain, that would be, wouldn't that be too
No,
harsh?
but honestly, if you're going to the table, to the top brass of Chelsea, what is his leverage? What would Potter take there? What is his leverage? Are you taking results? Are you taking performances? Are you taking player improvement? What exactly is his leverage? I mean, listen, we talk about all of these cliches. I run back to Ten Hag. Look at how disjointed Manchester United were post and pre Ten Hag, sorry, before he had to come in. Look at the kind of football projects they are running today. Nobody needs to tell you that if you support and back this manager in the long term, you are going places. Look at the players he's improved. I mean, look at the players he came
Everybody
to
knows
meet.
your stance. You
Exactly.
shouldn't have brought in the Ten Hag bit. But you know, like we said, the new year, the entire team is here. There's Percy Bonnie here, and he will join us very soon on set. So, guys, those who want to see Percy is around. Don't worry. David too is around. The entire squad is here, and we are doing this with you as always. Let's take some comments from YouTube. Charlie, the fire is too much. I can't handle the fire. So, George Pamford says Tuchel is the cause of all this. Michael says that no, no serious club buys Koulibaly to build for the future when there's already Thiago Silva. Last three summer transfers have seen Chelsea buy contributed little or clearly misfit. George Pamford comes back to say, one, Tuchel was average but was lucky with the cup matches and the UCL he won to cap it. Two, his players' recruitment is the most pathetic. Koulibaly, Cucurella, Uba, and etc. So he talks about the problems with Chelsea and he feels the player recruitment and all that was a problem. PK Justice comes back to say Tuchel hasn't done anything wrong. He brought in his players and get fired. What has Potter also done, playing players out of position? Zongo Media comes back again to say the manager is trying to make Asu happy. Oh yeah, today Asu is so excited. PK, I'd lucky can see you want to see us in the relegation. PK, no, come on. I mean, just we speak about Chelsea and for all the Asu and everything. Listen, Chelsea are one of those clubs in England that have represented England very well in European competitions. Listen, in the last decade, if you are listing the top three clubs in England that have represented England very well in terms of giving England or the English contingent a lot of mileage in Europe, you'd want to mention Chelsea. And so I do not want to see Chelsea in rally. For some reason, when they come to the Champions League, they're able to prove their mettle. So, PK, don't get me wrong, I don't want to see them relegated. Like I said, I hope that Potter can steady the ship, at least get them to a more favorable position. I do not think they will make the Champions League, so the top four is looking tight. Percy, let's compare this Chelsea to the Chelsea of old. What was or what is that thing that differentiates them?
Okay, it's actually been a while, and I'm greeting our listeners and
Yeah.
our viewers. I was watching you, and you were bringing some comparison, and you know this is the first time that Chelsea has brought in a new manager to make amends for the old manager, and he's not doing well. This is unlike Chelsea, because if you take the Chelsea, that's the new era from 2003 when Abramovich took over, and he sacked Ranieri
Yeah.
after he actually took them to the semi-final of the Champions League and was second. Mourinho came in till 2007, 2018. He left. Abraham Grant came in.
Yeah.
Then there was you had Scolari coming in. Scolari, there was Gus Hiddink making amends for
Ancelotti
it. Then we
coming
had
in.
Ancelotti coming in. He wins the next season. He wins the FA.
Antonio
He's
Conte
gone on.
comes
Even
in.
before him, you remember there was Villas Boas.
Villas
Boas came in.
Yeah.
Mourinho came in again. Then you had Conte coming in. Every
So
manager that comes
seemingly,
wins.
Potter is the odd one out.
Potter is the only non-elite manager who has come in. Every single manager who has come in is either an European champion or an European semi-finalist. Every single manager who has come in has had that.
Yeah.
But then when Potter came in, if you're comparing these two, there is a whole difference. One is the difference of ownership. I heard you saying that if it was Abramovich, he wouldn't even send a fax letter. I'm sure from the top, from the VIP top, he will probably tell whoever is there that Charlie, tell this guy that tomorrow he's
PK
fired.
will probably be excited because he wants Potter gone.
Yeah, but the question is, you raised a lot of things about when he goes, who is coming. You see, Potter is someone who has been caught in a crossfire. He was sitting at his place and he has been caught in a crossfire of bad decision, because you sack your coach, whom you gave 250 million pounds.
He signed a lot of players and they are still signing.
You made the coach buy players worth 250 million pounds.
That's true.
That he couldn't even use for 3 months.
But you see, Seth has explained the reason behind the firing of Tuchel. And it was more of conflicting of ideas.
For that one, we all know that. But so, Potter, I wouldn't want to blame him so much, in as much as you blame him because he's the one in the helms of affairs. So first of all is the change in the ownership, because whatever Abramovich done, he's a quick fix. Chelsea has been a quick fix team for the past almost 15 years.
Yeah.
Excuse me, they've never had a long-term project. Chelsea has never had a long-term project because they fired this manager. They are the only team who can win the league in 2010. Failed to qualify for Champions League quarterfinals. The next season, Champions League, they're able to win semi-final and become sixth in the league. The same Chelsea, 2013-2014, go and check their position on the league. Yet when Antonio Conte comes, they win the league. The next season, they falter off. Even the season before they won the league in 2021. Check the season before. In Champions League, they did virtually nothing. So they have been a quick fix team. But for this time, this Chelsea is different from all other Chelseas because, one, every manager, like I told you, every manager that replaces their predecessor is a top-notch manager.
So you feel the problem with Chelsea is the fact that they brought in somebody who is not
Yes,
top-notch.
the first one is, I told you, bad decisions by the owners. Of course, you don't if you knew you were going to fire him, why give him money to buy players that he wants to use? The second one is the coach you brought. And the third one is they had bad signings, because there are some of the signings, of course, every team has...
Chukwuemeka.
Please wait. Every team has one-off signing. But yes, you buy Cucurella for 63 million pounds.
Cucurella is not a bad
player. I'm not saying he's a bad player.
Those hounding Cucurella, he's not a bad player. He's just, not performing.
When players' values go up, there are a lot of factors. And I'll give you the facts and we'll see where we can put Cucurella. One of them is the country they come from. Anthony, for all the noise we make on him, one of the reasons is because he's a Brazilian, not because he's so special.
But he's not.
I'm not saying that Anthony is an exception. I'm saying that one of the reasons why the next one is the age. Of course, the age is on his side.
Exactly.
But Cucurella is not from... which country is he from?
He's a Spaniard.
He's a Spanish. And Spain, of course, is a footballing country, but they are not the country that brings up players with high values. The next one has to do with, has he won anything with his team? He's from Brighton.
Anyway.
So the players they bought, the manager, which I don't want to blame so much, decisions, those in the helm, I think Chelsea have suffered enough. Let's put their issues aside.
We've talked about Chelsea enough. Let's switch to the other two big clubs. I mean, for City, we are not going to talk about City. I mean, City are City. Let's talk about Liverpool, Manchester United. Let's start with Manchester United. They, as much as we'll talk about the FA Cup, win, but Manchester United as a whole, look at the work Ten Hag is doing and has done. Listen, United are on an amazing run of form. They are almost about over 10 games. They are yet to be beaten. They are doing so well in the Premier League. It's the reason why they are third in the Premier League now. They've made it through to the fourth round of the FA Cup. Do you think Ten Hag has gotten it right finally with Manchester United?
Do you remember when Ole came into the helms of affairs?
Yeah.
For the past 4 years, we've seen better than this in Manchester United, watching football. If you've forgotten, I'll remind you. When Ole came in, he went almost 20 games.
Unbeaten.
That's
true.
Almost 20 games from where United was. Although they couldn't, of course, win anything. The next season, United was third. The next season, United was second.
So for you,
So
it's not so much a big deal.
yes, I'm not so much fixated on the result, because if it has to do with the result, United, the only blunder was the last season of Ole, of which there are a lot of factors. I don't want to talk about it. So for a long round of matches without a loss, it is not something United has not seen in a long time. This is still not the level of Manchester United.
But
In as much
you
as I
feel they are
don't,
not playing.
no. In as much as I don't want to take away whatever he's doing, I just want to say that it is too early for a United fan to jubilate on this. If it is, in quote, a team like Tottenham who is having this round of matches, you should be happy because it's Tottenham.
This is where I disagree. I feel that, listen, there are a lot of positives from this.
Yes. I'm
Like,
not taking.
I feel like there are a lot of
Yes,
positives from this
I was coming to that.
United team. I think, listen, if you look at the body of work, Ten Hag has put into building this United team. He brought in certain players. A lot of people had their issues. Varane injury prone, Casemiro retirement package and all of that. But now the players that he brought in are the players that are making Manchester United
Of
tick
course.
very well. Look
Very-
at Casemiro.
very good.
He's the reason why literally United are one of the strongest team in the Premier League now.
Of course.
Look at Rafael Varane. There's a sense of stability in their defense. Look at the players he brought in. One of the key players that I think has made a mark is, Lisandro Martinez.
Yeah.
He's a bull at the back there.
Yeah.
And there's a pattern to everything
course.
United do and their way of play. If you look at United, they rarely lose their shape.
Yeah.
The last 4 or 5 games, I've watched Manchester United and they keep the shape of the team even when they lose the ball.
Yeah.
When they are transitioning, the shape is the same. It's like gradually we are seeing what Ten Hag is trying to do with this United team. As much as it's not a resemblance of the Ajax team
Of
where
course,
they
of
play
course.
that excellent free-flowing kind of football, but I think that is enough for some of the United fans to be excited.
Yeah.
It would yield result. I would be super excited if at the end of the season they win a trophy. It could be the FA Cup, it could even be the league, or it could be the Europa League trophy. If whatever Ten Hag does at the end of the season and they do not win anything, I think it amounts to nothing.
I was coming to that. The first thing I was establishing was that United should, of course, the fans could be very happy because post Ole, the team was in a bit of they've gone through turbulent times. Departure of Ronaldo, there was more like a mutiny between the coach and blah blah blah. With United climbing up, I am not. What I'm trying to say that I am not so much enthused with they climbing up as much as their play. For their play, I am really giving it to him because
Okay.
he's shown that he's not wasted money.
Okay.
Because every player, even Tyrell Malacia, who was brought in, players have improved. Now, Luke Shaw can afford to even play in central defense, and it is a very good sign. So this is more like a building, which I so strong. I'm okay with it. It's a good thing.
Yeah.
But where United has faltered is always the final third. That was the final third. What I mean, I'm not talking about on the pitch. I'm talking about in winning trophies.
Okay.
And that one, the only person who was able to give that to them was Jose Mourinho.
Hopefully.
I'm saying that he gave that winning, that trophy mentality. That every trophy counts.
Okay.
That even with the likes of Jesse Lingard and Marouane Fellaini and Bastian Schweinsteiger, he was able to win 3 trophies.
Okay.
We had another coach, or there was another coach of Ole, who also started on this same tangent. But when he got to the crunch end,
He failed.
yes,
So United's problem
Yes.
has always been getting to
Exactly.
cross the line. Guys, we have to check out. But listen, it's been an exciting, first edition. We brought you this special show just to let you know we are not going. A lot of people were asking, where's Sports 101? Where's the team is coming bigger and better. We are coming everywhere. I mean, we thank you so much for the live stream. Those who were watching us from Accra, Kumasi, wherever you're doing the watch, and those who gave us the super stickers. God bless you so much. Thank you. But we are doing this with you. If you've not subscribed, make sure you subscribe to Sports 101 as always. Like our videos. Go back to our channel. There are numerous videos there. Go watch them. Like our videos. Comment. We're doing this with you. You can tell us what you think about the show. But hey, we are grateful to PK Justice, to Michael, to all the guys who commented and joined us during our live stream. There's a big game coming up, I think this coming weekend. Manchester United against Manchester City. Trust me, Sports 101 has you covered as always. We're out of here. We did this with Kofi, Asiedu, there's Percy in the background, there's David, the entire team. We're here. So see you again next time.